Welcome back for a little bit more mindfulness. Today we're going to be talking about the happiness playbook. What is that? How on earth do we have a playbook? Is it in my little black book of happiness? No, it's not. So how does this work? And what am I even talking about? I'm talking specifically about the idea that you are not able to get to where you want until you're okay with where you are. A lot of people seem to try to pursue happiness directly. And when that is tried, when that's the attempt, when that's the effort, that's not what happens. If you try to pursue happiness directly, you're going to end up disappointed because you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be at that full state of conscious awareness. You're not going to get there. It's like if I told you that I wanted you to make $1 million. If your goal was only to make $1 million, you're not going to make it. If your goal is to provide value and to help people, your odds go up a lot. It's the same thing with happiness. If your goal is to do things that you enjoy or help others feel enlightened, help others feel good about themselves, you're going to feel good about yourself too. And other people are going to notice that and they're going to contribute it. See, there's this cycle that exists. Everything is a cycle. Although there's a cycle that exists specifically here. And you find it in depression and in people who are happy. Now, in people who are depressed, what you tend to find is that everything around them helps them be depressed because they do two things. They have a negative outlook on the things around them. So, for example, if that person looks at you on the street, the depressed person might say, "Oh, what's that person looking at me for?" Or they might say, "Oh, is that person judging me?" The confident person might say, "Oh, I guess that person really likes my outfit today." Or, "Oh, I guess what I'm doing with my hair is looking really good. Like, look at all the people looking." It's all outlook. The thing hasn't changed. The only thing that's changed is the frame in which it's encompassed in. See, it's subliminal. And that doesn't mean that you can put an ugly picture in a pretty frame and expect it to be a nice overall aesthetic. It's not going to be the case. You do need a nice picture. Although the picture is enhanced by the frame monumentally. See, sometimes it just means putting a frame in general. A positive frame. An optimistic frame. A frame that will directly contribute to your overall happiness. Because until you're able to understand it full-heartedly, until you're able to accept it, you'll never be happy. You see, full true happiness, in my opinion, both professional, expert, and personal, all three, I would say is the ability to do things that you want to do without fear or worry of judgment. Now, those things aren't really things, rather emotions that you let yourself experience. Let me give you an example. The other day I went hiking, and I was out in the woods, and I just laid down on the middle of this trail, out in the middle of nowhere, and just stared up at the trees. And a million people could have walked by and looked at me and said, "What the heck's this guy doing? Why is he sitting on the ground? What a loser, what a weirdo." Anyone who walked by could have said that. And it didn't matter. Because I was doing what I enjoyed. See, remember, you can't get where you're going, and you know my stance on the word can't, so I use this very strongly. You can't get where you're going. You can't get to what's next until you're okay with where you are now. Everything could always be better. More money won't solve your problem. More friends won't solve your problem. More fame won't solve your problem. The only thing that will solve your problem is you and your ability to actually face it. So what's making you unhappy? Is there something that makes you unhappy? If so, I have a challenge for you. I want you to take a notebook and just write out in point form what makes you unhappy. And it doesn't have to be something you're experiencing right now. And I want you to start to separate yourself from this. Notice what makes you unhappy. If, for example, it makes you unhappy when you go on social media and you see other people's lives and you think, oh, their lives are so much better than mine. My life is awful. Maybe you got to change the frame. And the frame in that case isn't on a screen. Find something that makes you unapologetically you and unapologetically happy.